Hello, and welcome. Welcome to the first call of the 5-day challenge for thriving during lockdown. So good to be here. I'm just going to wait a couple of minutes so we have time for people to get on the call. I know technology has been quite interesting at the moment with lots of people working from home. Hi Margaret, hi Melissa, hi Julia. Could you just let me know that with a little thumbs up or a hi Linda, just let me know that you can see and hear me. I've had a bunch of technical issues this morning, and boy, it's a really good reminder for us to remember to be flexible and adaptable in these times, because holy moly, that's the way through, is to be beautiful. So great, good, you can see me, you can hear me. That's just absolutely awesome. Thanks Melissa, thanks Julia, that's beautiful. I'm so happy you're here. I recognize some of the names and that's lovely, and some of the names I don't recognize. Welcome here. My name is Avril Carpenter, and I'm a weight loss hypnotherapist for women, and what I do is I help women to make peace with food, make peace with their bodies, so that they can live the life they truly crave, because that's what we all want to do, is live the life that we truly crave. Now I'm in Sydney. It's a grey day in Sydney. Whereabouts are you? It's a bit grey, but to be honest, I wasn't going anywhere anyway. In the bubble, man, in the bubble. So we'll get started in just a second. I've been chatting with a lady just before I got on this call, and she was saying how this lockdown has really been magnifying her emotional eating, that her emotional eating was something that she'd wanted to get on top of for a long time, but she didn't have the time, didn't have the space, didn't have the focus. And really, that's a gift that we've got right now, isn't it? The gift of time, the gift of having not a lot else to do. So there's a silver lining to everything, right? There is a silver lining. Now the plan for the session is I really only want to go for 15-20 minutes today. It says 30 minutes in the Facebook event, but that's because the minimum time is 30 minutes. I'm aiming more at 20 minutes simply because, I don't know if you're the same, I found 20 minutes is like my max at the moment. I just feel quite maxed out, and a lot of the women I've spoken to have said the same. So let's keep it quite short, quite sweet, have a bit of fun, and I'm going to give you one tool per day that you can take home and use. Okay, and I really encourage you so strongly. It's very easy to go, oh yeah, I know that. I've worked with Avril and I know what she's talking about, or I read that in a book once. Here's the thing. Whenever we tell ourselves, I know that, we shut a part of our brain down. So I want you to stay open, stay willing, stay curious, even if you've heard what I'm going to say already, because it's just so important to not just know something intellectually, but to be doing it. Okay, so a little bit of tough love there, a bit of a tune-up, and I say this because I say it for myself as well, because what I'm sharing with you, beautiful ladies, is exactly what I need to remember myself every day. Okay, we're all in it together, and I'm not perfect. So can you do that for me? Can you stay open? Stay open, stay willing, all right? Let me see. So, okay, let's kick off. 4 past the half past. So 2020, March. Interesting times, right? How's it working out? It's amazing when we think about all the all the systems and establishments and organizations and so many of the external systems that we were born trusting in, we were born seeing as reliable and strong and there forever, are crumbling or have crumbled or will crumble, quite possibly. It's been a really interesting time for us. Okay, and wherever you are, I'm sending so much love. If you've been touched very closely by this virus that I'm not going to name, my heart goes out to you. Okay, if you found yourself eating more than normal, please do not beat yourself up or shame yourself. Okay, we know that shame and guilt and judgment does not work as a tool for change. It does not work for weight loss. Okay, we know this. So I want you to give yourself a grace period. What we've been facing, these are completely uncharted waters. And I'll be honest, I did a bit of overeating there for a couple of days. And I teach this stuff. So please give yourself a grace period and know that your response to what's happening is completely normal. And you're here now and you're taking action and you're learning tools and new ways of dealing with it, okay? But don't beat yourself up. Please give yourself that grace period. And if you've been eating more than you would like to or more than you know your body needs, or you've been turning to the low quality foods, here's why. Right now, our bodies, our nervous systems are in a state of that they're in survival mode. Okay, our nervous system is in fight or flight mode, or you may have heard of it as being referred to as the stress response. And it's a very normal reaction. Excuse me. It's a very normal reaction to a threat. And what's going on? It is a threat. And what happens is it causes our body, our beautiful bodies, to flood with the stress hormone called adrenaline. Whenever we have adrenaline in our body, we feel anxious, we feel icky, we feel exhausted, we feel edgy, we feel, like yelling at ourselves, yelling at our partners. We just feel icky, okay? And I know you know what I'm talking about. And when we're in this survival mode, this fight or flight place, we crave. And it's never broccoli. It's never broccoli or cauliflower. It's usually sugar. And that's because our body is so incredibly wise. She knows that sugar converts to energy the quickest to get away from her perception of the saber-toothed tiger. Okay? And it's usually sugar or junky food. Okay? Does that resonate? So it's the crisps, or it's the foods that we typically term the comfort foods. All right? You see, there's a part of our brain, the cave person part of our brain, called the amygdala. And in cave people days, we had two major fears: the fear of being eaten by the saber-toothed tiger, or the fear of famine. So it was the fear of, our ancestors dealt with the fear of being dinner or having no dinner. And right now, this virus, this pandemic, is triggering both of those fears. Okay? The virus feels like a saber-tooth walking around our house. Right? And seeing people stockpiling food, or seeing empty shelves in Woolworths or Coles or Countdown or Pack and Save, that triggers our famine fear. So our body is just doing the best she can. Okay, she thinks she's protecting us, she thinks she's comforting us, she thinks she's keeping us safe. But the problem with it is that we were never designed to be in survival mode for a long period of time. In the olden days, it was super helpful, because if we saw a saber-toothed tiger, our body would flood with adrenaline, all our energy would go to our major muscle groups so that we could run fast. all right? We could get away from the saber-toothed tiger. But right now, it feels like the saber-toothed tiger has been lingering for a couple of weeks. And who knows when it's going to leave our cave. And the fact is we can't run away from it because we're on lockdown, right? We can't run away. We can't do our usual responses, all right? So I really encourage you to have compassion for yourself and recognize that our incredibly wise body, she's just trying to keep us alive. She's looking after us. She thinks she's protecting us, okay? And the fascinating thing is that, I mean, I know many of you on this call have been directly impacted by the virus. Your children are abroad, or you're worried about family, or you're worried about your job, or you've already lost your job. Okay, so you've been directly impacted. Even if you haven't been directly impacted, have some compassion for yourself, because our mind doesn't know the difference between something that's real and something that is imagined. So this is where we're seeing pictures in the media reports or in the paper, the coffins, the gun sale statistics, there's so much fear. And our mind doesn't know the difference between the stock market crashing and being chased by a saber-tooth. It feels like the same thing, okay? Our mind doesn't know the difference between empty shelves at Countdown or Woolworths. It just triggers that famine fear that we have. So have some compassion, okay? That cave person part of our brain is doing the best it can, but it's a bit like, it's an unevolved part of our brain. And it's a bit like allowing a toddler to drive your car and then getting cross when the toddler crashes the car. The toddler simply doesn't have the capacity to drive the car. The toddler can't reach the pedals, can't see over the dashboard, is operating, is just simply not up for the job. Okay, so that's where today's tool is really about helping you make a choice, make a decision, and it is a decision to thrive during lockdown. And it is a decision, okay? It's a decision to self-lead yourself, to lead your bubble, if you like. Because we can spend all our time looking out there at systems that are crumbling, that we have no control over, and we can obsess about that. Or we can come back and focus on what we can control. Okay? We can come back and there are things that we can focus on, that we can control, that will help us thrive. We could spend this time just wishing away the lockdown time, surviving, hoping that it'll be over soon. Or we can use a couple of tools to reconnect to who we really are, but we've been way too busy to really listen to ourselves for a long time. We can come back to ourselves and use this time as a gift and decide to thrive. And it starts with making a decision to thrive, number one. And the second step is to start focusing on what you can control. Stop looking out there, stop reading the media, especially before bed or just after you've got up, and start coming back to what you can control. All right? And the system that I want to talk about today, or the tool that I want to talk today, and it is a system, it's an internal system. Okay? It's a system that, when used regularly, it changes the biochemistry of our body. It calms our nervous system down. It gets rid of the stress hormone adrenaline. And it encourages all those happy hormones, those safe feeling hormones, those calm hormones. And it might have been a while since you've remembered what they feel like. So the tool I want to talk about today, if you haven't guessed already, it's the power of belly breathing. And it's a system that, think about it, belly breathing it's the one thing we can rely on. It's the first thing we did at birth. It's the last thing we will do before we cross over. And if we can get through a day without our breath being seriously interrupted, we've had a good day, right? We've had a really good day. And think about it right now, because I get it, that it's really easy to go, oh, whatever, belly breathing, how's that going to help my comfort eating? How is that going to help my nervous system? Belly breathing, whatever. It's not very glitzy or glamorous, okay? I know I thought that when I first learned it. But think about the beautiful souls who have died from the virus. They died because they weren't able to breathe, okay? They stopped having access to their own breathing. And it's a bit of a poignant reminder, right? We have access to our breath, but so often we're misusing our breath. We're hyperventilating, or we're breathing from the upper part of our chest or our lungs rather than doing the deep belly breaths, okay? Now, the thing with breathing is that nothing communicates to your body that you're safe more eloquently than your breath. Okay? In the olden days, when we were being chased by a saber-toothed tiger, were you belly breathing? No. You'd probably be hyperventilating, right? And so this is where breathing deeply, breathing from that space behind our belly button, it tells us that we're safe. It's very calming, it's very reassuring. And I know if you're sitting there rolling your eyes like I did when I first learned about the power of belly breathing, it can feel very underwhelming. It's like we want something flasher or sparklier. But breathing is so powerful. Okay, so often clients will tell me they want to get rid of their negative self-talk or their anxious thoughts or their stressed feelings, and they obsess about trying to get rid of their thoughts or rid of their feelings or focusing on their self-talk. The easiest way to change your anxious thoughts is to breathe deeply. When we breathe deeply, our thoughts go deep, okay? So much of the overeating that we do, or the craving, or the emotional eating, is behavior that we do when we're not breathing deeply enough, okay? We need to start using our breath to calm ourselves, to reassure ourselves. And if you think, okay, one more reason, because I really want you to get the idea and understand how powerful belly breathing is. Okay, if you think about trauma, and many of the women I work with overeat because of trauma in their past. One of the ways I think about trauma is that when trauma occurs, it's often that our breath has been taken away from us. So think about something horrible that's happened in your past. In that moment of that trauma or that thing happening, it's like our visceral response is to gasp. Our breath is taken from us. Okay? And so by breathing, we're reclaiming ourselves. So for example, this morning I was reading some media reports on the virus, and I could feel myself gasping at the horribleness of it. And I did keep reading the media report, but I intentionally went from that gasp into that place of breathing from behind my belly. Does that make sense? Trauma is when our breath is taken from us. Death is when our breath is taken from us. So start taking back control of your nervous system. Start reconnecting to your beautiful body and her inner wisdom by breathing deeply. Okay? Breathe deeply. Breathing is so underrated. It's like the Cinderella of mindset tools, but it's so important. It's so important. Okay. Now, a lot of women, they will how to breathe. Like, a lot of women ask me how to breathe, and there's a lot of different techniques out there. There's different yogic breathing techniques. There's lots of free apps out there. What I suggest you do is keep it simple. Do not overcomplicate it. Okay, keep it really simple. The aim is to be breathing from that space behind your belly button. And so you can do that now if you like. Put your hand on your belly. And as you breathe, I want you to imagine, or as you breathe, push your hand away from your belly. That's it. Push your hand away from your belly. If you introduce your shoulders to your ears like this, you're not breathing from behind your belly button. It's really important to be pushing your hand away. That's it. And you can feel almost immediately a sense of calm. Okay, a sense of trust, a sense of safety. Now, we can't control everything out there, but we can control our breathing. And what you might want to do is, as you're breathing, remind yourself, this is my favorite mantra at the moment, I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. So breathing from that space behind your belly button, reminding yourself of how safe you are, because you are safe, lovely. And I like to think about it as breathing is one of the most beautiful forms of self-care. We have access to it in any moment. Okay, calming your nervous system down is only a breath away. And I like to think about it as getting a hug from your mum or your nana, and you're reassuring yourself that you are safe, because you are. It's like the hug that you used to get from your nana, or hopefully used to get from your nana, when you were 3, when you were that scared toddler. And your nana would say to you, you're okay, lovely, you're okay, you're okay. You're going to be okay. I know you've stubbed your toe, or you've hurt yourself, or you feel scared, but you're going to be okay. Now, for many of us, our nanas are not here anymore. And the systems that we've grown to trust are not here to support us right now either. But you can give yourself that internal hug, that loving reassurance, just through your breathing. Remind that inner toddler, that scared inner child of yours, that you are okay. Give yourself that life-giving hug. That's it. Be that parent to yourself now. Be that leader. You're okay. It's a bit of a schmozzle out there, love. But you're okay in here, in your bubble. And the more you remind yourself that you are okay, the less you'll look for excuses to overeat and other ways to comfort yourself through food. Comfort eating never really reassures us. It's an illusion. It's a lie, it's a trick. But deep breathing does. Okay? Now, I'm going to be honest, is deep breathing, is belly breathing, Is it going to stop you from craving immediately? Probably not. Probably not. But the more you practice your belly breathing, the more you add deep breaths and those reassuring inner hugs to your day, the more you use that internal self-care, that mental self-care, those cravings will diminish because you've calmed your nervous system and you're giving yourself that comfort that food never really can. Okay? So I hope you found that helpful. I hope. Oh, that's so good. My comments have reappeared. Facebook is having a tricky time today. Maybe Facebook has the virus. My comments disappeared and now they're back again, which is just beautiful. Now, if you've got any questions at all about the breathing, I'm pretty biased. I love deep breathing, okay? But if you've got any questions at all, just please pop them in the comments. Beautiful. And now we're nearly at the top of the hour. That's nearly past, and I know I said I wouldn't make you sit there until past. So please go and practice your deep breathing. Okay, practice your mental and bodily self-care of leading yourself, leading your bubble, whether it's just you in solitary or your entire family. Breathe deeply, okay? Breathe deeply, and I will see you back here, same time tomorrow. Stay safe. See you. Bye-bye.